Krishna Hare 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 Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram
Ram Ram
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu
पांचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Sorry for stopping your studies chanting, and we will start the Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. So I would like to read a quote by Srila Prabhupada ji. A devotee is never contaminated by material conditions, but persons subjected to material conditions can become spiritually advanced and blissful upon seeing the blissful behavior of a pure devotee. Another quote by Srila Prabhupada. No knowledge should be taken from a perfect person, because if you take knowledge from a person who is defective, your knowledge has no value. You must take knowledge from the perfect. Hare Krishna. May I know who all have joined the call today?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Nikunjara Sada from Germantown, Maryland.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanur Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj. Thank you for joining the call.
Hare Krishna, Manita Prabhu and all the assembled devotees. Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Tamarasika Dasi from Germantown, Maryland.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanur Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj. Thank you for joining the call. Hare Krishna everyone. Today we are very fortunate. Welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam call. Today we are very fortunate. We have Her Grace VanaMalini Manjari Devi Dasi Mataji from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And Mataji is going to enlighten us from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 17 and verse 19. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanur Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. You may take over the call, Mataji, when you're ready.
Verse 9, Prabhu. 9.
Verse 9, yes.
Hare Krishna. My humble obeisances to all the devotees on the call. Thank you all so much for giving me this opportunity to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of devotees who regularly gather early in the mornings to chant and also to discuss about Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll start with Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsham Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tamsajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitam Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripam Sindhubhya Vacham Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. So we are in 6th canto. Everybody is aware of the context. So Vritasura, why was Vritasura a great devotee? Then we are discussing about his past life, that is Chitraketu. So now Chitraketu has become a great devotee of the Lord Krishna. He was given an aeroplane by Lord Sankarshana, and while going on that, he goes through Kailasha and he sees Lord Shiva. If you see, he was traveling in the valleys of Mount Sumeru and he saw Lord Shiva in his assembly of sages while embracing Parvati on his lap. So, and then he expresses his wonder. Like he's surprised, like Lord Shiva acting in the assembly of the sages. When all the sages are there, he has exhibited this act of embracing Mother Parvati. And he laughs. Lord Shiva, knowing the intentions or the mood of Chitraketu, does not respond. Mother Parvati responds and curses him. And that is also seen as the Supreme Lord's will to bring Chitraketu sooner to his abode. So sometimes some things that happen in our life, if we can understand what is that Lord wants to learn from that incident in our life, we will use it in a more favorable way to render service to the Lord. That happens as we progress towards the devotional service. If we are still attached to material desires or material body, we may not be able to grab that opportunity as Lord's mercy. Rather, we see that as a misfortune, and we either lament for that or we hanker for something which we don't have and we miss the opportunity. So devotees of the Lord always see every situation in their life as the mercy of the Lord. They accept it. So the important point here is when reversals happen in our life, when things that we don't desire happen in our life, if we are not happy, it is actually an indication that we are not accepting Lord's will. Whatever is happening, if we know that whatever is happening in our life is granted by the Lord, even though it is our karma that is coming back, but the sanction is given by the Lord. So when we start our devotional service, the day we start, all our karmas will not go away. We still have to endure the reactions of the sinful activities that we have done in our previous lives. Or we have to enjoy the pious activities that we have done in our previous life. When pious results are coming back, we don't question that much. When sinful reactions are happening in the due course of time, we don't embrace them. We don't invite them in our life. We think that, oh, I have been so good in doing devotional service to the Lord. Why these things are happening to me? Krishna's mercy is so unpredictable. He has been merciful throughout, but now he is not being merciful. even for a minute that dissatisfaction or that thought comes in our mind, then we kind of should know that there is so much more for us to progress, because everything, pure devotees of the Lord considers everything as a Krishna's mercy. Reversals or good things or bad things, anything and everything as the mercy of the Lord, and uses everything and anything to render service to the Lord. Or they see if there is anything that I need to learn from this situation. Everything. Krishna brings certain situations in our lives to show us that, oh, here is your attachment. This is the mistake that you are doing. This is what it is you need to correct, because we have to completely Krishna. We have to be completely devoid of all kinds of impurities, and we have to be completely anyabhilashita sunyam. There should not be any other desire other than serving the Lord in all circumstances. When we are at that situation, we will be qualified to go back to Vaikuntha, Goloka Vrindavan. So, for that, Krishna helps us sometimes. So, he will take away something which is very, very dear to us. That happens only when we progress a lot, and then when we are ready to see in everything Krishna. To those devotees, it happens. As soon as devotees hear this line that Krishna will teach us lesson and take something dear, we are happy. That is very dear to us, so that we can depend on Krishna more, we can think of Krishna more. They will think that, oh, let me not progress in Krishna consciousness. This is so dangerous. I don't want something that is very dear to me to be taken away. So, as the devotees progress in Krishna consciousness, they won't have actually, in reality, other than Krishna, anything dear to them. Not even their own body. The only thing that will be dear to them in their lives will be Krishna and Krishna's lotus feet and serving the Lord. Only these things will be dear. So in case of those devotees, Krishna really want to test them, that will they withstand that situation? Will they still hold the lotus feet of the Lord? So there are so many things in this pastime. When I was reading this also, there are so many subtle things that we can observe. So Chitraketu laughs at Lord Shiva from verse 1 to 10, that is the context. And 11 to 15 is a context where Mother Parvati chastises Chitraketu and curses him. And then Chitraketu, how Chitraketu reacts to that curse. That is the thing. And how Lord Shiva later talks to Parvati and glorifies the Lord. So sometimes certain things happen in life. So the sufferings in our life come for various reasons. The first and foremost reason, the sufferings that we experience in our life, the miseries that we face, whatever is the misery, Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, Adhyatmika, miseries by our body and mind, miseries by our relatives and other living entities in this world, and miseries by the material nature. These are the three kinds of miseries. Broadly, all our miseries can be classified into these three kinds. The miseries or the sufferings that happen in our life happens because of our previous sinful reactions. We cannot escape them. Karma knows its destination in whichever life we are taking, whatever life we are taking. If we think a little bit more, actually we take the life to endure certain karmas. So the body that we take, the house in which we are born, the circumstances which we are born are actually designed to endure certain kinds of karma. So it even starts before we take birth. So the sufferings that we have come, that are predestined in our life, like, so we know we take that body to endure those sufferings. So the sufferings in our life come to endure the sinful reactions that we have done in previous life. There is no doubt in it. There won't be any injustice happening to us in any situation. It is just that our previous karma resulting, time for it to give its results. In due course of time, our previous karma has matured and it is ready for us to endure. But we forgot, like this example, always we should remember that. Let's say there is a serial that is happening. Already 1,000 episodes has completed, and now 1,001 episode is happening. and you forgot or you never saw the 1,000 episodes and you started seeing the 1,001 episode, and you saw a particular person A is being mean to B, and then B is suffering all that, and then you will tell to the person who is watching with you, oh, it is so unfair. B is such a small kid, and why is that person A, who is 67-year-old is being mean to her, or something like that. Then, or not an young person, but maybe some other person. But the person who is sitting next to you remembers all the 1,000 episodes, and he says that, oh, you don't even know what B has done to A. You should see in the previous episodes how mean he was. So this is right thing that is happening to person B. So we always forget our past actions, so we don't remember them, and we think that whatever is happening to us right now is the injustice or unfair thing that is happening. But it is never like that. It always has a reason. So the first reason is that we are enduring our past sinful reactions. The second reason is Maya testing the devotee to make sure that the devotee has no other desires other than serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Another reason, the third reason is Krishna wants to glorify this devotee's devotion, honor this devotee's devotion, so he will show him as an example to the other people, other devotees, how we are not this body, how we are soul, and how devotees who have progressed or devotees who are advanced in spiritual life can see the difference between the soul and the body and can perform devotional services to the Lord in any situation or in any circumstance. If we don't see that, we will not be able to know that devotional service can be performed in any situations. When we look at the lives of great devotees, we understand that there are devotees who can withstand any kind of miseries and still happily render devotional service to the Lord. That means there is something in the devotional service of the Lord which is so attractive, which is so nectarian that they are not disturbed by the material problems. So there is a situation where the devotees can render devotional service to the Lord even in a worst material condition. That means we are not this body, we are soul. There is a situation where the senses can turn inwards. Senses are not looking outside. So we need a practical example. So in that case also, some certain devotees, they suffer and Krishna wants to glorify. So here Chitraketu, the way Chitraketu accepted the curse of Mother Parvati exhibits how devotees accept the reversal or curses in their life. And that is what Lord Shiva will tell to Mother Parvati. And there is a Falastruti, like what happens when we hear the pastime of Lord Chitraketu. Sorry, the pastime of Chitraketu, not Lord. Pastime of Chitraketu. So very, very important chapter and very beautiful chapter. There are so many subtle nuances that we have to focus. Sri Sukha Uvacha Bhagavanapi Tachrutva Prahasyagadativrapam Tushinim Babuva Sadasi Sabhyascha Tad Anuvratam. Sri Sukha Uvacha Bhagavanapi Tachrutva Prahasyagadativrapam Tushinim Babuva Sadasi Sabhyascha Tad Anuvratam. Sri Sukadeva Goswami continued, my dear king, after hearing Chitraketu's statement, Lord Shiva, the most powerful personality, whose knowledge is fathomless, simply smiled and remained silent, and all the members of the assembly followed the Lord by not saying anything. So, Chitraketu Lord Shiva, whose hair is mated on his head, has certainly undergone great austerities and penances. Indeed, he is the president in the assembly of strict followers of Vedic principles. Nonetheless, he is seated with his wife on his lap in the midst of strangely persons, and is embracing her as if he were a shameless, ordinary human being. Chitraketu, these are the words of Chitraketu. Lord Shiva, the spiritual master of general populace, is the best of all living entities who have accepted material bodies. He enunciates the system of religion, at how wonderful it is that he is embracing his wife Parvati in the midst of an assembly of great persons. Ordinary conditions persons generally embrace their wives and enjoy their company in solitary places. How wonderful it is that Lord Mahadev, although a great master of austerity, is embracing his wife openly in the midst of an assembly of great saints. So even though Chitraketu's intent is not to insult Lord Shiva, but his words are coming out in such a way that the intentions are not very clear. He's saying that he's sitting in an assembly of great sages, and like an ordinary person who has no control on the senses is embracing his wife. That is what generally happens to the normal human beings. And the more now we are going deviated from the scriptures, people are more and more exhibiting the animal propensities and doing publicly their affections and all those things. And sometimes they celebrate certain days where they say that you come out and kiss for this many hours, and those all things actually agitate many uncontrolled souls who don't have controlled mind, and push them towards doing sinful activities, because there is always certain things are hidden in our life. There is a reason that we are human beings, and then certain things have to be done in closed doors. Otherwise, for young children or people with uncontrolled mind, that agitates. So many people think that, oh, what is there? We are matured enough. We don't need to watch. We know to discriminate what is right and wrong. What will happen to us when we see even something? We know that. But Krishna already tells in 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita that even one uncontrolled sense can take away the mind of a person, of an intelligent person who knows to discriminate between right and wrong. It's not that we don't know to discriminate between right and wrong. We are in a position where we know that certain things are wrong and we should not be doing that. We should not be taking that. But if you keep watching that wrong things every day and every time, your senses will be carried away by that thing, and then we will one day end up doing that wrong thing. So it is very, very important for us to not to watch the bad or wrong things, even though we know to discriminate. There are so many things in this world very easily available from day one to day night. Like you take from the small example of watching the wrong news again and again. Like somewhere some bad has happened, and whole day you watch that. A certain kind of a fear happens in you that, oh, this may happen to me. Or you may start feeling very, very sad, disappointed about the life, about the material world. So, and then you will not be able to focus on your devotional service or your normal, regular day-to-day activities or work or something. So, and then if that happens with the bad and sad news. If you see something very agitated movie or agitated scenes, even though you are very controlled and you are at an age where you have to focus more on your devotional service, you start looking for that enjoyment, and you'll start crossing the limits of whether I'm doing it in a dharmic way or adharmic way. So it is very, very important for us to not do certain kinds of things. So Chitraketu is now saying that how come this great Lord Shiva, like an ordinary person who has no control on his senses, is embracing his wife? That is one meaning. The other meaning is like, oh, how wonderful it is that great Lord is showing so much affection towards his wife. So this is what it is Chitraketu has spoken. Sri Sukadeva Goswami continued, "My dear king, after hearing Chitraketu's statement, Lord Shiva, the most powerful personality, whose knowledge is fathomless, he is not agahadidi. He is not agitated by what anybody is saying. Krishna is the great Vaishnava. Lord Shiva is a great Vaishnava, and Lord Shiva is a great yogi, is a powerful Lord. So he is not disturbed by Chitraketu's statements. He knows, he also understood the intention of Chitraketu. Because Lord Shiva is knowledgeable, simply smiled and remained silent, and all the members of the assembly followed. So he just smiled and remained silent. So sometimes great devotees of the Lord does not react to every small thing, knowing that either knowing the opposite person's intention, or knowing that he is immature, he may not be knowing really what he is talking. They forgive, they understand, because the person who is hearing those statements is full of knowledge. So they act, they don't react for everything. So that is the thing which Lord Shiva is exhibiting here. Chitraketu's purpose in criticizing Lord Shiva is somewhat mysterious and cannot be understood by a common man. So it is mysterious. Chitraketu's statements, or not everybody will understand his intentions. They are mysterious. It gives a wrong signal to the common people. Lord Shiva is completely knowledgeable, who can understand. He understood and he did not react. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura, however, has made the following observations. So we have to understand these statements through Acharya's eyes. So now we are seeing what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura is saying. Lord Shiva, being the most exalted Vaishnava and one of most powerful demigods, is able to do anything he desires. Although he was externally exhibiting the behavior of a common man and not following etiquette, such actions cannot diminish his exalted position. Lord Shiva is Naistika Brahmachari, or Lord Shiva is not somebody who is not having control on his senses. He is an exalted Vaishnava, and these kind of actions does not diminish his position, because he is not doing this out of sense gratification. But the act that he is exhibiting outside looks like that, like embracing somebody, his own wife publicly, or doing those kind of things, shows that we don't have control. But here it is not the case. Although he was externally exhibiting the behavior of a common man and not following etiquette, such actions cannot diminish his exalted position. The difficulty is that a common man seeing Lord Shiva's behavior might follow his example, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. See, this is the position all the senior devotees or the senior Vaishnavas have. Whatever they do, the common people will follow. So here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura is saying, even though Lord Shiva is not acting out of sense gratification, but people who are looking at Lord Shiva, they don't understand Lord Shiva's actions or intentions, they may follow it. Yad yad acharati shrestha tat tad evetaro jana sayat pramanam kurute lokas tad anuvartate. So whoever has taken a sannyas ashrama, or whoever is a senior devotees, we all have to follow the etiquette to set an example to the common devotees. So you may be like, let's say there is a Prabhuji and there is a Mataji. A Mataji may be like a sister to that Prabhuji. Like when they may know each other from many times, and then they all understand each other, and she calls her a brother or something. But that is all inside their house. So when they went to a temple, they do. So this Prabhuji is like some temple president or somebody at a higher position. And then when he sees this Mataji, instead of calling her Mataji, or instead of speaking to her respectfully, he calls her by name, and he's little bit exhibiting a closer gestures towards her, people who don't know their relation before easily misunderstand that. And many times people don't come and ask for clarification. They assume so many things, and then they start thinking that, okay, they will judge the things wrongly. Or they think that, oh, we also can do like this. We also can also behave like this. And they start practicing it. So it's very, very important for all of us. Like even in the house, sometimes we do out of control certain things in front of the children, and we set an example to them that they can carry with them. Like shouting at each other out of control, calling each other names, or raising hands. So many may not be doing that, but still there are many people, even in the devotee's house, they struggle. I often get scenarios where people come and talk to me and ask, like, this is what my Prabhu is doing. Whenever he's angry, he will raise hand. So it is so difficult to control. It is so difficult to get rid of all the bad tendency that we have. A great sadhana, a lifetime after lifetime, can help us there, can help us to bring us there. But we should not wait that, oh, it is coming without my any effort. When I'm angry, without any effort, bad words are coming out of my mouth. When I'm angry, without any great effort, I raise my hand. All these things we have to control voluntarily, because whatever we are doing, that is what is setting an example for everybody else. And if we are in a responsible position, we have to even be more careful. We have to think and act. Even though our intentions are good, our actions should show our intentions. Otherwise, a wrong message will be given to the people. And if we are in a higher position, people follow us. They'll say that, oh, that Prabhu did. He was a president last time. He did that. I can also do that. And they will start doing. Or my father did this every time to my mother. I can also do to that. Small things, like small things, like helping mother in the kitchen. If husband helps the wife in the kitchen, that sets an example to the children in the house, especially the male children in the house, that tomorrow when they grow up, they have to help Mataji in the kitchen. Or if mother is respecting the husband, even though the husband is not intelligent or smart or not knowing things, then even a girl child will learn that, okay, we need to accept a person as they are, and we have to respect. So all those things are learned by acting. So here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Prabhupada is quoting this verse, Adyat acharati sreshtas tatta devetaro jana sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. A common man might also criticize Lord Shiva, like Daksha, who suffered the consequences for his criticism. King Chitraketu desired that Lord Shiva cease his external behavior so that others might be saved from criticizing him and thus becoming offenders. So the Chitraketu's intention is that people may not understand Lord Shiva's nature, or how in what exalted position Lord Shiva is there, and they may consider his action as an action of loss of self-control, and they may criticize him, and when they criticize him, they may suffer because of that criticism. They may be cursed, like how Daksha has become an offender. They may become an offender. So sometimes this is something we all have to learn also, this subtle thing here. Sometimes what we do is we keep going to the people who don't take Krishna consciousness, and we try to give them. The more we try to give them, the more they say no, and they become offenders. So when we try after a certain time, we know that these people are going to do more, say more no's and going to offend. It is always good not to go and give them Krishna consciousness. Or when you know that a certain devotee always offends you, a certain devotee always criticizes you, calls bad names, or does not behave in a right way, And even after expressing to them that you are doing a wrong thing, you should not be doing this towards, because I don't have that kind of an intentions. If they keep doing that, it's better to keep our distance from them, because to avoid making them repeated offenders. In that way, we are helping them. And this comes especially in close relations. Like, we try to make the things right, and we try to correct them. And the more they go away from it, the more they will become offenders. So it is always better to keep distance from all of them. So here, Chitraketu's intention is, looking at Lord Shiva's behavior, a common man may misunderstand Lord Shiva and may criticize Lord Shiva and may become an offender and incur consequences for that action. If one thinks that Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the only perfect personality, whereas the demigods, even such demigods as Lord Shiva, are inclined to improper social affairs, he is an offender. So this is one important thing. That, see, there are so many things in this purport. If we underline and observe, there are so many things which Prabhupada purports are very, very powerful. So many devotees think that purports, because I often hear from devotees who are reading regularly, Mataji, the same thing is repeated again and again. We are not going anywhere. We are still in first canto, third canto. We are not moving forward. It is not a novel or anything where we go to the end and we will know what, there is something in the end that we have to know. Every page, every purport, every shloka will teach us. And especially Bhagavad Gita, if we all see, even one shloka and purport, if we read thoroughly and meditate on each line and each word, we will understand the essence of whole Bhagavad Gita. That is how Prabhupada has written the purports. Prabhupada says many times that I myself read my books because it is not me who has written it. It is Krishna who has made me written it. So such empowering and such powerful purports, such powerful books Srila Prabhupada has written. And all glories to all those devotees who are reading those books. All glories to all those devotees who are distributing those books. So all of us, how much ever we are regularly hearing, we all have to sit down and read at least one paragraph, one page every day from all Srila Prabhupada's book. Reading Srila Prabhupada's books regularly helps us a lot to progress in our Krishna consciousness. So here, another thing that we all should not do is, as we are progressing, some people who are very new to Krishna consciousness, we all understand that Krishna, Lord Vishnu, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and perfect, and immediately we disrespect all the other Devi Devatas. We should not be doing that. Disrespecting all the other Devi Devatas is an offense. So some people think that, if I go to their temple or if I go and pray to them, I may be not considered as a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. So I should not be doing that. I should put the things down. No, we can always go pray to them. We know their position. We know them. We respect them. They are all exalted Vaishnavas. They also know their position. We should go to them. We should pray to them that, please help me in my Krishna consciousness. Please remove all the obstacles in my Krishna consciousness. Please do the things in such a way that I can become more devoted to my Lord. So we can always pray to all of them. And we always have to pray and have to pay our respectful obeisances to all the Devi Devatas. There is never ever any right has given to us to disrespect them. So if we do them, we are offenders. So Prabhupada is writing that. If one thinks that Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is only perfect personality, whereas the demigods, even such demigods as Lord Shiva, are inclined to improper social affairs, he is an offender. Considering all this, King Chitraketu was somewhat harsh in his behavior with Lord Shiva. So these are the two intentions of Chitraketu. One is that a common man should not criticize Lord Shiva, and another is that a common man should not disrespect all the other Devi Devatas and think that only Vishnu is perfect. So with this intention, Chitraketu was little harsh towards Lord Shiva in passing his statements. So even if we are speaking truth, we have to speak it in a very palatable way and in a very respectful way. That we have to practice. Vacho vegam. We have to control the speed of our tongue for eating and also for speaking. Sometimes we think that, oh, I'm telling the truth, so I'll tell it in a harsh way. So if we do it in that way, whatever is our intention of telling the truth will not reach the person to whom we are saying. They will get struck at the way that we talk. They won't see the meaning of what we are saying. So the mother's intentions most of the times are all the time they are very good. But when they tell to the children, they won't tell in a way that the children will listen. The first thing, they shout, they scream, they call names. The kid will get stuck there. Oh, you are calling me names. You're shouting at me. So I'm not going to listen what you are saying to me. So if we really want to tell and ask them to change, then we have to know how to tell also. That is very important. It's just not, the important thing is that the matter, whatever we are telling, the subject matter, how we are telling is also very, very important. So here, Chitraketu's mistake is that he is very harsh. He is very rude in his behavior towards Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, who is always deep in knowledge, could understand Chitraketu's purpose, and therefore he was not at all angry. As we all know, Lord Shiva is always knowledgeable. He's a great Vaishnava. He's the one who is having full control on his senses. So he did not react, understanding Chitraketu's purpose. Therefore, he was not angry and remained silent. The members of the assembly has followed Lord Shiva. Surrounding Lord Shiva could also understand Chitraketu's purpose. Consequently, following the behavior of Lord Shiva, they did not protest. Instead, following their master, they remained silent. They all also remained silent, following his master, Lord Shiva, following their master. If members of the assembly thought that Chitraketu has blasphemed Lord Shiva, they would have certainly have left at once, blocking their ears with their hands. So if there is anything wrong in Chitraketu's words, all the sages there would have closed their ears and left that place. So this is something a devotee has to do. After repeatedly telling to somebody not to blaspheme an exalted devotee or Lord Krishna, sometimes some devotees, they just come and they keep gossiping. And, how much ever we tell them not to do, they will not change. The best way is to go from there or not pay attention to what they are saying. If we start paying attention to what they are saying, we also may become like that, like a frog croaking, talking all kinds of nonsense. Prabhupada says in Nectar of Instruction that Krishna has given us the ability of speaking, then we should not be like a frog, always saying back, 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 back. And what will the frog's back-backer do? It attracts the snake, telling that I am here, come and eat me. So the unnecessary talking of us, the talking of material things, gossiping, all these things are only attracting sinful reactions for us and making us offenders. So if Krishna has given an ability for us to speak wonderfully, we have to practice the austerity of speech by speaking only the things about Krishna or only the things that are needful to us. But other than that, in our day, if we observe our talking, we talk on so many unnecessary things. A lot of unnecessary talking happens, whether anybody put us in that position or not, we do that. I was seeing somebody saying like, oh, what is the important thing in life? We should, if anybody is giving knowledge or money, he says knowledge will be given freely to us, so take money nobody gives. It was a joke actually, but it is true. We talk so much unnecessarily. We don't practice the austerity of speech. Austerity of speech is to speak only about Krishna consciousness and only speak about the needful and useful things. Or if we are in a position where we have been given an authority to correct others, then we should find the fault and we tell that also for their good, not to enjoy or not to show our supremacy, that see how great I am, how low you are. So these are the things that we all have to practice. Verse 10, 9 and 10 are having the same thing. So I'm just completing the 10 so that you all can do from 11 tomorrow. Ityatadvirya vidusi bruvena bah ashobhanam rusaha devi drushtaya nirjitatma bhimanine. Not knowing the powers of Lord Shiva and Parvati, Chitraketu strongly criticized them. His statements were not at all pleasing, and therefore the goddess Parvati, being angry, very angry, spoke as follows to Chitraketu, who thought himself better than Lord Shiva in controlling the senses. So this is where Mother Parvati comes. Mother comes to correct the child, so that by correcting that, she is also setting an example that how we should not be behaving towards exalted Vaishnavas. See, very important. Our intentions should match what we are doing. Our actions should actually be very transparent, that it shows our intentions. Sometimes our intentions will be something, but our actions will be something. So when we are acting, when we are performing something, always we should act in such a way that our intentions are exhibited through our actions. This is very, very important. Our intentions may be good, but if our actions are bad, we cannot blame anybody that, oh, you have judged me wrong. Nobody can come inside your heart and see what are your intentions. So it is very important when we are in a responsible position or when we are acting publicly, it is very, very important that our actions and intentions match. This is when we are acting. There is another side of it. When we are looking at other people's actions, we should not quickly judge their actions, judge them based on their actions. When we are looking at others, we should not immediately judge them based on their actions. We should see their intentions. How will we see intentions? If they are very close to us, we should go and ask them, see, I saw you acting this way, but I know that you are not a person like this. I just want to understand it correctly. Is this what you are trying to tell by your actions? Then they will say, oh, no. This is not what I mean. Sorry, my actions were wrong. Thank you for telling me. I'll correct myself. So when we are looking at others, if their actions are somewhat questionable, we should not immediately judge them. We have to go and clarify with them. We have to help them to correct their actions. So this is the two things that we have to learn. And this comes in Bhagavad Gita also. It's very, very important. When Krishna tells to Arjuna that, everybody will judge your actions. You leaving the battlefield and going away, that you are a coward. You could not fight. Nobody will see your intentions, that you don't want to fight with the people who are respectable to you, like teachers, Bhishma and all. And they don't think that you are running away because you don't want to kill them. You are very affectionate towards them. They think that you are scared of fighting with them and you are running away. So you will get infamy. And infamy is as good as death for those who consider honor as everything. So Krishna says that. So it's very important. Here, the intentions of Chitraketu were something. His action, the way he put his statements were wrong. Even though an exalted devotee like Lord Shiva is very forgiving. They forgive our actions by knowing the purpose. But Mother Parvati want to correct him. Although Chitraketu never meant to insult Lord Shiva, he should not have criticized the Lord, even though the Lord was transgressing social customs. So Chitraketu is not in a position to correct Lord Shiva. That is very important thing. This happens. Some devotees, as soon as they get initiated or they get very serious in Krishna consciousness and they see a senior devotee who has been practicing or who is maybe when a lecture is going on, and unknowingly they have made a statement which may be like little wrong, they will try to correct them immediately in front of everybody, like to show that, oh, you are senior, but look, I know more better than you. So these kind of actions should not be done. Very, very important. There are certain kinds of etiquettes that needs to be followed for Vaishnavas when we are approaching senior Vaishnavas. It is said, Tejiyasam no doshaya. One who is very powerful should be understood to be faultless. For example, one should not find faults with the sun, although it evaporates urine from the street. The most powerful cannot be criticized by an ordinary man or even by a great personality. Chitraketu should have known that Lord Shiva, although sitting in that way, was not be criticized. The difficulty was that Chitraketu, having become a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, Sankarshana, was somewhat proud at having achieved Lord Sankarshana's favor and therefore thought that he could now criticize anyone. So this is the problem. Powerful people should not be criticized by an ordinary man. That is one thing. And then here, the problem with Chitraketu is, Chitraketu has become a great devotee of Lord Vishnu and he has received a favor from Lord Sankarshana. He got that aeroplane and all those things. So he became somewhat little proud. So when all the devotees start praising us when we are doing service, and we get that pride and we start questioning everybody, the seniors, everybody we will question, we will criticize. So that is what Chitraketu has done. Having become a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, Sankarshana was somewhat proud at having achieved Lord Sankarshana's favor and therefore thought that he could now criticize anyone, even Lord Shiva. He thought he can criticize even Lord Shiva. So sometimes if we don't understand the actions of senior devotees, senior Vaishnavas or gurus, we should go in person and clarify those things. This is very confusing to me. I did not understand. I don't want to become an offender. I want to understand this action very correctly. Mataji or Prabhuji, can you please explain to me? Then they will, if their intentions were something, they will explain to us. So that is the behavior that we have to exhibit. Being humble, not by being proud and questioning them and making them stand in front of everybody. So there are two things in this. I'll come to the other part also. So the kind of pride in a devotee is never tolerated. So Mother Parvati understood that this pride needs to be cut. This kind of a pride is never tolerated. So Krishna wants to become Chitraketu completely pure, even devoid of this pride. A slight pride also Krishna doesn't want Chitraketu to have. So all this thing was arranged by Lord to purify this great devotee and take him back to Krishna. A Vaishnava should always remain very humble and meek and offer respect to others. Trunadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige and ready to offer all respect to others. So sometimes the insults in our life also teaches us something. Whenever insults are happening in our life, we have to sit down and understand whether we are proud of something and we are acting in pride, or is there something that we need to retrospect that I am attached to. So nothing in our life happens without any reason. So we have to understand this. And the first thing that we have to know is to accept the things that are happening in our life as they are, because they are the mercy of the Lord. There is something that we need to learn from that all the time. All the time. There will be something that we need to learn from the happenings in our life. So a devotee of the Lord should be very humble, always offering respect to everybody. He should be very tolerant. He should be devoid of false prestige. In such state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Only when we are humble, we can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Any kind of an offense that we do takes us away from chanting the holy name of the Lord. Many devotees have this problem. I'm not able to chant regularly. I'm not able to chant at a regular time. I'm not able to get the taste of chanting. My dear devotees, we all have to, if we are not able to do this, then we have to see that there is some offense that we are doing that is blocking us to chant the holy names of the Lord. There is some sinful reaction of us that is causing an obstacle in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. The only way to get rid of those offenses, the only way to get rid of those sinful reactions is to chant more. So the determination to chant at a regular time with full surrenderance to the holy name, quality of chanting should be our priority in a day. There should not be any other priority in our day. The only priority, the only goal, the only focus in our day should be that whether I have done a qualitative chanting or not. And very, very important is to have a fixed time in the Brahma Muhurta. At least 30 minutes, at least 15 minutes, regularly in whatever scenario. I am going to get up, brush, if possible, take bath. If not, just brush, wash my hands and legs, sit down and chant that 15 minutes. Qualitative chanting before we start a day full of desires, gossips, running behind the material things, seeing so much material nonsense coming to us. We need to have that schedule. And we need to be very humble, retrospecting everything in our life, checking our behaviors. The word Nirjitatmabhimanine indicates that Chitraketu taught himself a better controller of the senses than Lord Shiva. So this is very important. Easily we judge senior devotees when they, how come he's senior? Many devotees do this offense. When the senior devotee exhibits something, like when a senior devotee comes and maybe comments something disrespectfully. So immediately devotees complain like, how come he is senior? He's talking like that. I am more better than him. No. That senior devotee is in the process of becoming a pure devotee and cleaning all his impurities. Maybe there are 1 or 2 impurities which are coming out, and they are coming out in public because Krishna wants to purify the devotee even more. So if that is coming out, somebody will point out, Prabhu, you are senior, you cannot behave like this. Then the devotee will immediately realize that, oh, this is something coming out of me, unknowingly or knowingly. I have to fix this, and he will correct it. And never ever we should think that we are greater than that devotee. So the greatness is not in a good behavior. The greatness is in how much we are attached to Krishna, how much we are chanting, how much we are rendering service to the Lord. As we progress in devotional service, we need to know that, because every one of us are not perfect yet. We are in the process of becoming perfect. There may be many souls outside there who have a good behavior, who never speak any bad word, who are exhibiting all kind of good qualities, but they don't have any love for Lord Krishna. Then there is no use of those good behaviors. That will only end up in giving punya. But there may be a devotee who is chanting all the time, who gives a wonderful lecture, who reads, who renders service, but he may be having 1 or 2 bad qualities, which he is also trying to control, but he is not able to control, but he is still better than this person who is having a good quality because he has no Krishna in his life. So this thing we always have to remember. Having Krishna, how much we are attached to Krishna is very, very important, because that attachment to Krishna, that serious sadhana will eventually make us perfect. We may not be perfect now, but eventually we'll become perfect. That's what Krishna says in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. All of them are sadhus, saintly people. Whoever is chanting the holy names of the Lord, whoever is rendering the service to the Lord, they're all saintly people, or eventually they will become saintly people. So never ever we should leave our sadhana. There may be certain bad qualities in us, we don't like it. So we should not become into the self-pity mode, or being overly guilty and think that, oh, I have this bad quality, then there is no point in chanting, I'll stop chanting. No. When we see bad things in us, we should chant even more, because we need more purification. When we are fault finding in others, we should chant more, because we have that fault finding tendency. So chanting more is the only solution for all the problems. Chanting, qualitative chanting. Chanting at a fixed time is only solution. Chitraketu thought himself a better controller of senses than Lord Shiva, although actually he was not. Chitraketu was not. Lord Shiva is great exalted Vaishnava than Chitraketu. Because of all these considerations, Mother Parvati was somewhat angry at Chitraketu. So Mother Parvati is not angry because her husband has been criticized. Here Mother Parvati is angry because Chitraketu was slightly proud and thought that he can control his senses better than Lord Shiva, and he passed a statement in a harsh way, and he is not exhibiting a nature of an humble devotee. So Mother Parvati wanted to correct him. So Mother Parvati became angry. So from verse 11, we'll see how Mother Parvati curses Chitraketu and how the chapter goes. A very, very important chapter. I request all devotees to focus, meditate, brainstorm on the purports and this chapter and understand and use this. And it has every incident, everything has two faces, and we have to understand all of them. So I'll conclude here. And I welcome all the devotees to pass their comments or corrections or questions.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, such a wonderful and beautiful class. And, as always, you explain so nicely about how should be our behavior as a practicing devotees and at home as a husband, wife, and if we are senior, like if we are junior devotee, how should be our attitude. So Mataji, I didn't understand. Like your class was very nice, but what was the King Chitraketu's intention? No, sorry. What was the Lord Shiva's intention to embrace Parvati here?
Oh, that that was not mentioned. It I will look into that. I didn't think from that point. That's a very good point. There should be something there too. But sometimes Bhagavatam does not give all the facets of a pastime, Mataji. We have to see the other scriptures because if you see here, Bhagavatam is fully about glorifying devotees, right? Like, and the Lord's interactions with the devotees. Read again and see if I will find anywhere that, or if I find, I'll forward that to you. But one thing is like both of them are husband and wife first thing, like, so with that there should not be any particular reason. But it could be also, we see the Lord's hand behind all these things. So it is kind of a play where they know that Chitraketu will fall for the trap to teach a lesson to Chitraketu, right? Like Chitraketu will fall trap to this behavior and will criticize, and see, sometimes the Lord arranges like that in our lives. We may be proud of something, and then Krishna arranges in such a way that out of that proud we will do an offense. So to do out of that proud an offense, he will arrange that situation. So I have personally experienced in my life certain things that like, immediately I find my lesson, like, we don't even know sometimes that we are proud of something. When we criticize others and that turns out reversal, then we realize that, I was proud of that. That's why I was doing this. And Krishna has taught me this lesson. Otherwise, we may not notice that act. Chitraketu was, if he was humble, he would not even have noticed that act. But so that was I'm thinking right now, but that's a good point to look. I will see if I can find something and I'll tell you. I did not find in my reading the reason why Lord was embracing. Maybe the previous verses in the purport anywhere Prabhupada mentioned that, sometimes Prabhupada mentions.
Yes, thank you so much, Mataji. And one more thing that he was explaining about, it is we need to understand the Bhagavad Gita very well. So, is there any online Zoom classes or like that for kids like age of 11, 12? Because they want, two of my friend, they started following this Hare Krishna movement, and they also want to teach Bhagavad Gita to their kids. but sometimes it's very hard to understand them. So she was asking me about that.
Yeah, I do some sessions, but I'm doing right now the 108 important slokas, which is mixed with Bhagavatam and all. I don't know if your friend is in India or here.
She is here, Mataji. She's here,
Yeah.
and she wanted to do on Zoom, like online.
Yeah, I can, if they are interested, I can forward you details, Mataji. I have a session which I do
That's great.
especially for kids who are like 2 years to 16 years. It's only kids sessions. So if they are interested, they can try joining. And I also know some other forums also do kids sessions. So you can forward those two also. But I can just give about these. They can, it's difficult because when I speak all these things to kids, I have to be speaking in a different way.
Yeah. So please give me, send me, Mataji. That will be very helpful. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandot Pranam, all grace to Sri Prabhupada. It's such a nice class, and we emphasize the very fundamental requirements of taking the holy name, chanting the holy name, which is the Trinada Vishwanichana Tarurivasarishna, the very basic quality of a Vaishnava, and to be humble. And that is re-emphasized again and again, and that is the cause of the reversal of that is the cause of fall down in very, very exalted devotees. This is so very important that you reminded us that yes, the offenses are something that stems from the pride. And Krishna also multiple times emphasizes this in Bhagavad Gita, starts with the knowledge. Chapter 13, just trying to recollect. Amanittam, Adambhittam, Ahimsa, Shanti, Marjavam. So first he starts with Amanittam. Then again in chapter 15 he says Nirmana Mohajita Sangha Dosa. So everywhere Krishna is trying to tell you be devoid of any man, any abhiman, any false pride, because you are my part and parcel, and you are struggling. You realize you. Then Mahaprabhu of course says Trinada Vishwanichana, and also says Name Vipro, Name Sudra, and Gopi Bharta Pada Kamala Das. So time and again the Vaishnava, Krishna, Mahaprabhu and the Vaishnava saints. I was again referring to just listening to one Vaishnava bhajan by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Kabe Habe Bolo. So there he's saying Sakole Manodo Aponi Amani. That means giving respect to everybody and being devoid of any pride myself. Aponi Amani Hoya Asa Divo Namorasa Sar. So the next Namorasa Sar. So if you have to taste the essence of the Namaras, the mellow of the holy name, then first we have to have these two qualities. So it's very, very important. And yes, some many times due to our sadhana we may ascend to certain level, but it is this pride which brings us down. And yeah, you are right, Krishna reminds us, and that is a warning, and I should take very seriously. Thank you for your nice class and reminding us of this very basic quality of Vaishnava. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Mataji, if there are no questions or comments, we can conclude the session.
Yes, Mataji. Vanchakalpatarvesha kripa sindhu evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo
Namo. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jai. Jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Her Grace VanaMalini Manjari Mataji ki jai. Thank you so much,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.